What's up out there? I'm just going to do this quick video regarding the TC Integrated Preamp pedal. I saw the video by Plague Scythe Studios comparing the Fortin Grind and 33, and I did comment that I might do this, and I'm doing it. I've done a little EQ plot thing, so I'll also have some general notes or whatever on the TC pedal, but I'll get to the point of it first. So let me quickly explain how I've done this. So I'm using the AXFX 2 as my interface, and what I've done is put the TC pedal in the loop. Now I can't drag the for some reason the Axe Edit software won't let me drag onto my secondary screen, which I'm using, but I've got a screenshot of the patch. I'll bring it up. So yeah, it's not actually bypassed. It's just a blank, or was a blank preset, and I've put the effects loop in here, and yeah, the pedal's in the loop of the TC. There's some fucking random noise just pops through my speakers. And so you'll notice here that I've brought down the level, which is going out of the loop into the pedal. I've brought that down because even though I'm running it at 24 volts, it still clips. I was testing it with my guitar a little bit earlier. And yeah, I can still get it to clip even at 24 volts. That guitar has bare knuckle, what are they? Hot pickups, anyway. And yeah, I could still get it to clip. So bringing the level that goes out to the loop, out of the loop into the TC pre, yeah, that assures me that there's no clipping of the pedal, because we don't want to do that for actually testing the EQ. So yeah, that's that there. So yes, the AXFX is my interface, and I'm in Reaper here. There's a plug-in pink noise generator, and I've rendered that. That's that there, and what I did was just play that back with the AXFX in using in the reamp mode. So you go to your in out section, and your main input source change to USB, and then played back this pink noise. I'll do a quick example. Yeah, so I played that back, and I've recorded the number 1 input of the AXFX. So I've got 4 available here. The 1 and 2 is the affected. So in this case, 1 has the TC preamp through the loop, and here on this channel I've recorded the DI. So the AXFX 2 will do that when you reamp in the USB as the input source. It will still present that back as a DI, so it'll re-record the DI. So all these two here is this, and I've just gained them down, and I'll show you the reason of that. For that, just go to my extensions here in Reaper, loudness, analyze selected items. So I've just brought down the unaffected pink noise signal within 0.1 LUFS loudness. And so, alright, I'll hurry the hell up and get to what the point of this is. So in my master bus, I've got curve EQ. Alright, so what you're looking at here is, let me just check, yep. This is the EQ plot of the TC Integrated Preamp, full boost, bass all the way down, treble at unity or as at 0, whether that's exactly unity, near enough, obviously. Alright, so again, this is the TC Integrated Preamp with the bass all the way down, treble at unity, and on full boost. And obviously, as I just explained, I've compensated regarding the level. Yeah, so let's get really to the point of what I suspected all along. So I'm going to go and grab the screenshot I've got of the Plague Scythe Studio's frequency plot of the Fortin pedals. Bring it up here, and yeah, very, very similar. I always assumed that a Meshuggah signature pedal was going to be attempt to recreate what they always used in their sound, which was the TC Integrated Preamp. And yeah, to me, it's there. It's obvious that that's what it is, but you know, it's not just copycatting. It's just, it works in principle for a guitar sound to do that. Yeah. So the Fortin pedals. You can see this video by Plague Scythe Studios to show that the Grind and the 33 are the same thing. On this graph, the blue one is the VST version of the pedal, which is in the Nameless plugin, but the two other lines here that are almost identical is the Fortin and Grind, and back to the TC Integrated Preamp. Yeah, I'll just quickly go to some notes on how I did this. So I'm using the Voxengo Curve EQ. I'm actually using the demo. It still works. It just mutes itself every now and then, but you can still do all this matching stuff. So I'm using the high res preset, and what that does is using a real-time average. That's the biggest block size, whatever that means, and all that stuff. So I'm looking at this with 18 decibel high and low range, which again, yeah, I don't know how this dude did his frequency plot, but it looks like it's the same range. And yeah, the levels, that's 9. That line there's the 9 plus, and it's my 9 plus there. It crosses over 300-ish. Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, obviously very similar, as I've already pointed out. So yeah, yeah, so these are my two spectrums that I've matched. Let's have a look at, while I'm in here, what it looks like at Unity, as in the treble and bass both at 0, but still on full boost. Match spectrums there. Go back. So whether zeroed bass and treble is actual Unity. So I took a picture, but just in case you didn't take my word for it. So there, that's what I'm talking about when I say Unity. So it's still coloration involved there, and maybe actual Unity is a little bit off where the actual 0 and that line meets, but whatever. So yeah, there's still coloration by the pedal at just boosting. So yeah, these used real-time average. I did another thing here. So these two here is where I started. That's the affected. That's the pink noise going through the TC, and that's the pink noise just clip going down. So that's what I matched, those two files. This one here is the pink noise just clip going down, and it's gone through the axe effect, so on without being affected. At least it's not going through the loop. But whatever else happens in the axe effects, at least that's happened when this is being reamped as a DI without being affected. This one here is the Unity, these two, TC Unity tone full boost. Up here, I just tried a thing where a slight variance, where I turned this pink noise down before it went through, because the actual levels of the DI that when you got a guitar signal they look more like this. They're quite low in the axe effects, so that's what it wants to see. If you record a DI through this channel of an actual guitar, it's going to be quite low level, and you can't get it higher. Anyway, I'll show you what I did as far as the spectrum matching. So this one here is, again, the bass all the way down, full boost, treble at Unity, but the difference, no, I didn't want that. The difference is I used average instead of real-time average, so I don't 100% understand this stuff, but real-time average time, half a second, so real-time, yeah, well, anyway. I don't 100% understand it, but this is average. I do understand here. It's telling me I changed the setting to average, and so I passed it through for about 5.5 seconds, and then took the spectrum and then did the same. Got pretty close by accident. It's not bad. Within 0.1 of a second, and I wasn't even trying. But and so that resulted in a smoother plot. But still, obviously, if you go back again to the Plague Scythe Studios video with the grind and the 33, pretty safe to say that these pedals are modelled on the TC Integrated Preamp, and that's what you would expect from Meshuggah signature thing, because as I already said, that's what they used, TC Integrated Preamp. You can look on Frederick Thorndale's Instagram. He's got a picture of some of his collection, and you can see the settings that he uses, and it's also quoted in interviews somewhere buried in the internet. Well, that's what they did. So I did one other different thing. So again, these are slightly different levels going in to the axe effects. So I'll just bring up that, match them spectrums. So you get that sort of bumpy plot rather than that smooth one we were just looking at. But I've got to go back and match these again. That's the match spectrums. Alright, so that was the first one I did. And this is where the level going into that axe effects was lower. It's got some variances, but that's as scientific as I am prepared to be. I lose patience if I stuff around too much. Alright, cool. Yeah, so there's the EQ plot for the TC Integrated Preamp. At least I'm not going to bother with the treble. I mean, I'm just covering what. I mean, this pedal is only even known about still because Meshuggah used it, and that's how they used it. That's the audience that I'm speaking to. Now, yeah, I said I'd have a few notes. Now, if you go looking around for discussion on the net, and I've already mentioned that in this video, that I'm running the pedal at 24 volts. And you'll see that they can take up to 32 if you read. And I thought that was true because I'd read it that many times. And when I finally found one local, went and bought it, brought it home and tried to give it as much power as I had, which is 24 in my adapter here, 24 volts. And I kept killing the pedal. And I'm like, what's going on? Well, what was going on is I didn't bother to read this, even though it's in, I think they're Dutch. My version of this TC Integrated Preamp pedal, as we can see right here, 4 to 16 volts DC. So I was thinking that it was a polarity thing or something. I was giving it the wrong polarity and it didn't have protection. I was blowing it up, but no, I was giving it too much voltage. But I've had this pedal modified, which is why I can now give it more juice. And I thought I had a picture of my receipt here somewhere. Doesn't matter. Yeah, so I got this. I got David Aurora audio in Coburg in Melbourne here to modify the pedal so it could take up to 32 volts. And he changed the power input so I could just use like a normal the type of thing that you see on most guitar pedals for your DC input. So yeah, but I'll bring up, because I happen to have the box in this manual. So here's the info. Obviously, most of us can't read this, but you can work out what we're talking about here, I think. Bass, plus or minus 15 decibels at 100 hertz. Treble, plus or minus 20 decibels at 500 hertz. I don't know what that means. I guess 20 dB, that's the boost, I think. Anyway, I'll just leave this here for a second. You can look at it and work it out. yeah. Oh, I don't know how many of these manuals and the actual box would be floating around still. I'm not sure what these exactly were designed for. It seems strange that a guitar can like at 9 volts, like 24 even, a hot pickup will just clip the crap out of this pedal. So I'm not sure if maybe it was intended for a wider range of uses or something. And maybe it says that in these words that I can't read, but anyway. Yeah, here's another part of the manual for it. Oh, it's the same bit, but yeah. Just got some. There's the box. Unboxing of a prehistoric pedal. Maybe that's what I should have called this video. Unboxing. Anyway. Yeah, that's about all I've got. So just remember, if you're trying to get one and you're unfortunate enough to end up with a 16 volt max one, you're gonna have to get it modified. But if you don't have this manual, you may not even know until you blow it up by giving it too much power. Yeah, all right. Thanks for watching. You can subscribe if you want. This channel, Latent Forms, is my music project, so my channel is going to be orientated around that more. But yeah, I've got a few other interesting bits of gear, not that special, but what have I got? Rocktron Piranha preamp. I could do a demo of that if people are interested. Got an Engel tube preamp, 530. Yeah, but not a great deal of interesting things, but yeah. All right, thanks for watching. Cheers.